Imagine you're camping deep in the bush on a still night. No phones, no city lights, just the Milky Way blazing overhead. Suddenly, there's a faint hiss, like a kettle boiling in the sky, and a streak of light rips across the stars. For some, it's just a meteor. For others, it's the voice of a spirit warning of change, or bringing a message from ancestors. By the end of this journey, you'll understand why First Nations elders say the stars are talking, and how modern science is now, quite literally, listening. So stay with us, smash that like button, and subscribe if you're into hidden cosmic mysteries, because the sky above Australia has something to say. Centuries before telescopes or GPS, people in this vast land knew the sky better than some of our most trained astronomers. Sitting around campfires, elders would point out patterns and tell stories that weren't just bedtime tales. They were encyclopedias of survival and belief. In the 1850s, anthropologist William Stanbridge sat with a Burong storyteller who traced the heavens, linking stars to seasons and songs. Decades later, researcher Ray Norris realized some of these stories had been passed down for tens of thousands of years. One Wardaman elder, Bill Yidumdumahani, famously said that if you lie on your back in the middle of the night, you'll see all the stars blinking, and they're all talking. He meant it. The twinkling wasn't random. It was a conversation between earth and sky. In another part of Australia, a pilot once lost his instruments flying over the desert. He remembered a story: follow the dark streak in the Milky Way until the Southern Cross sits upright over a mountain. That story saved his life. Tonight, we'll hear about a meteor that sang, a cosmic emu that tells when to gather eggs, and the morning star that pulls a rope of light connecting us to the ancestors. Along the way, we'll see how astrophysicists are transforming star vibrations into music. Ready, mate? Let's hit the track. Some decades back, a group of stockmen camped near Lake Eyre heard a high-pitched whine above them, followed by a flash that lit up the dunes. They later discovered it was a bolide, a fireball meteor, but the sound spooked them. In Tiwi traditions, a meteor is the spirit of a hunter racing across the sky. If you don't greet it properly, sickness might follow. For the Kuldur in South Australia, meteors bring disease if ignored. The voices aren't just metaphor. Scientists in the 1960s discovered that large meteors generate very low-frequency electromagnetic waves. Those waves can cause objects like hair, glasses, or even dry grass to vibrate, creating audible hiss or crackling for anyone nearby. It's called the electrophonic effect. When one bright meteor crossed Victoria in 2006, dozens of witnesses reported a fizzing sound at the same moment, and it matched what Aboriginal elders had described decades earlier as eyes of fire with a tail of smoke. An astrophysicist, David Frew, has shown that such events occur often enough that oral traditions can record them. Think of it like hearing thunder before seeing lightning. The sound and light arrive almost together. The elders didn't have weather charts, but they had memory, and just like a friend whispering across a campfire, the sky occasionally whispered back. In the savannas of the Northern Territory, children learn navigation by lying on their backs and talking to the stars. Bill Harney recounted how his mob would walk through high grass, spearing and gathering, and by nightfall they'd look up and discuss which star was which. Each constellation had a name, a totem, and a lesson. "We didn't have watches," he explained. "We always followed the star for the watch." These stories weren't entertainment, they were code. The Burong of southwestern Victoria watched when the Malifaux star, Lyra to Westerners, dipped below the horizon. That told them it was time to gather Malifaux eggs. The Kamilaroi and Ualai peoples read the Southern Cross like a calendar. The Yolngu in Arnhem Land waited for a dark gap in the Milky Way at dusk to know when yams were ready. An elder might say, "When you see the Canoe brothers tilt to this angle after sunset, stop fishing for barramundi." All the stars and constellations in the heavens, the Milky Way, the Southern Cross, Orion's belt, even faint clouds like the Magellanic Clouds, carried meaning and had legends attached. It's like an oral Google Maps, complete with warnings and rest stop indicators. European explorers once mocked these tales, only to find themselves lost without local guides. An RAF pilot in World War II landed safely because he remembered an Aboriginal story. Follow the dark streak of the Milky Way until the Southern Cross aligns with a certain mountain. That songline saved his skin. And here's the kicker. Modern science is starting to map these star stories to seasonal events with astonishing accuracy. There's real data in those yarns, and it isn't coincidence. Not all constellations are made of stars. High above the outback, a dark silhouette stretches across the bright band of the Milky Way. This is the emu in the sky, a massive shape formed by dust clouds. An elder might ask a youngster, "Can you see the emu's head near the Southern Cross?" When that head appears in March, it's telling us it's the start of the wet. Only his head and neck are visible. By April and May, the entire body is outlined. At this time, the emu is said to have legs, and the body looks like it's running. That's the emu breeding season. As female birds chase males, people know eggs will soon be plentiful. In June and July, the legs disappear. The emu seems to be sitting down, just like a male incubating his clutch. Elders say this is when you can still collect eggs, because the chicks are not yet formed. Come August and September, the body morphs into an egg shape, signaling chicks have hatched. And in November, the emu sinks low to the horizon. Its body aligns with the land, interpreted as a water hole. That means the billabongs are full. By December, the emu has vanished, hinting the water holes are dry. Imagine a calendar that loops every year, drawn on the sky itself. Instead of a smartphone pinging reminders, the cosmos does it. In 2014, a team from the Journal of Astronomical History and Heritage confirmed these correlations by comparing star positions with emu breeding data. It turned out the stories weren't just metaphor, they were meteorological records. When one stands in a pitch-black desert and sees that shadowy emu sit on the horizon, it's impossible not to feel a shiver, because you're reading a page from a book older than Stonehenge. Travel east to Arnhem Land, and you'll hear about Barnum, the morning star. In Yolngu dreaming, Barnum is a female creator spirit who guided the Jungawool sisters, the first humans, from the island of Bralgu to Australia. After making rivers and naming animals, she kept flying ahead, trailing a luminous rope that connected Earth to the spirit world. When Barnum rises before dawn, the Yolngu hold the morning star ceremony. Clan members gather with a morning star pole, a slender piece of wood topped with feather tufts and strings. The feathers represent the star itself. The strings are the rope of light. During the ceremony, the living talk with their ancestors. They release the spirits of recently departed loved ones along the rope, sending them to Bralgu and send messages back down. It's a funeral rite, but it's also a celebration of continuity. Scientists now know that the rope seen before dawn is the zodiacal light, sunlight scattering off a cloud of dust in the plane of our solar system. But the metaphor is uncanny. It really does look like a faint cone connecting the horizon to the star. The ceremony happens only when Venus shifts from evening to morning star, roughly every 584 days. Elders track this cycle so that the rite aligns perfectly. It's a bit like waiting for the right train to carry your message. Modern artists like Galiyal Kariwui, Guruwiwi, carve and paint morning star poles and exhibit them around the world. Each pole tells a story, and each string is a cosmic telephone line. And here's a twist. There are similar morning star ceremonies among the Kamilaroi and Ualayi peoples, and each has its own rope, its own story. The sky becomes a network of lines connecting clans, memories, and places. Next time you see Venus glittering before dawn, imagine an invisible rope trailing behind her, linking you to thousands of years of ritual and identity. That's some serious goosebumps. While elders saw the stars talk through patterns and brightness, modern astronomers have literally turned stellar vibrations into sound. Take the star KIC 11026764. NASA's Kepler mission recorded tiny fluctuations in its brightness. Astrophysicists converted those oscillations into audio frequencies. The result sounded like a deep gong. Another group recorded the heartbeat of our sun, revealing rhythmic pulses like drums. Some pulsars tick so regularly they're dubbed cosmic clocks. One pulsar emits radio pulses 642 times a second, and if slowed down, it sounds like a high-speed helicopter. This isn't just a novelty. By analyzing the music of stars, scientists can work out their internal structure and age. It's called asteroseismology. There's also a poetic side. Composers have used the data to create symphonies. Meanwhile, ethnographers like Dwayne Hamaker are working with Aboriginal elders to decode oral traditions that might record real cosmic events. In 2014, he and Uncle Gilla, a Gamilaroi elder, co-authored a study linking a story about a new star shining brightly in the middle of the sky to the supernova of 1054, the one that created the Crab Nebula. That supernova was so bright it was visible in daylight for weeks, and there are hints of it in Aboriginal songlines and rock art. So, the voices of the sky aren't just metaphor, they're signals, vibrations, flashes, and our job is to listen. Elders were doing it long before spectrographs and radio telescopes. They turned the cosmos into a language of survival, lore, and spirituality. Now, with computers and satellites, we're hearing new voices, gravitational waves rumbling like an earthquake, neutrinos whispering through ice, magnetic fields singing. It's as if the universe has always been humming a tune, and we're finally learning the lyrics. We've journeyed from meteors that hiss and crackle to dark emu silhouettes guiding hunters, from glowing ropes carrying messages to ancestors to modern scientists measuring stellar pulses. Along the way, we've met elders who lie on their backs and chat with the stars, anthropologists who wrote down those chats, and astrophysicists turning light into sound. What binds these stories isn't just myth or science. It's wonder. The sky speaks in many languages, sometimes in practical advice, stop fishing now, sometimes in ritual, send your loved one home, sometimes in pure physics, here's a neutron star spinning too fast. First Nations knowledge shows that you don't need a telescope to decode the cosmos. You need patience, respect, and imagination. When the Wardaman elder said the stars were all talking, he wasn't wrong. The question is whether we're listening. Next time you're outside on a clear night, have a proper look. Find the Coalsack Nebula and try to see the emu. Spot Venus and imagine her rope. Notice the twinkle of Orion's belt and remember three brothers in a sky canoe. And if a meteor streaks by with a faint crackle, maybe don't just wish on it, greet it. If this tale of talking stars made you feel connected to something bigger, hit that like button and share it with a mate. Drop a comment about a time you felt the sky was speaking to you, maybe a meteor shower, a brilliant morning star, or a story you've heard. We love hearing your yarns. And don't forget to subscribe for more journeys into the hidden histories and cosmic mysteries of our world. See you under the stars.